Hello again, everybody. Welcome to USA Wrestling Weekly. I'm Scott Casper. It's time for this week's news and features from USA Wrestling, the national governing body of our sport. This week we return to Baku, Azerbaijan for the conclusion of the FIDE Cadet World Championships. This coveted event features the world's best 15 to 17-year-old athletes. Last week we reported on the U.S. men's freestyle results. This week we focus on the women's freestyle and Greco-Roman competition and the overall performance of Team USA. Well, the cadet women's freestyle team had two strong days of competition. When it was over, Team USA placed an impressive fifth in the finals and boasted three individual medalists. It was an outstanding performance by California native Marina Doi, who won the gold medal at 83 pounds. Last year, she won a FIDE Cadet World Silver medal, but this year, well, she was able to finish it off with the championship victory. Marina opened with a 4-0-2-1 win over 2012 European Cadet Bronze medalist Maria Marinska of Bulgaria. She then stopped 2011 Cadet World Bronze medalist Sahilia Alekbarova of Azerbaijan by fall in their semifinal bout. Marina's gold medal victory was over 2011 Cadet World Bronze medalist Svetlana Ankachieva of Kazakhstan by a score of 3-0-2-0. Kayla Miracle of Indiana added a silver medal to her collection, doing so at 123 pounds. Last year, Miracle was 8th at the FIDE Cadet Worlds, but this time she had her eyes set on returning home with a bigger prize. Kayla opened with 3 straight victories, stopping athletes from India, Russia, and Azerbaijan. Her quarterfinal win over 2011 Cadet World Bronze medalist Ekaterina Mayakova of Russia was an impressive display of talent. In the gold medal finals, Miracle was defeated by Ai Kurodate of Japan in 2 straight. Anastasia Lobsinger of California was competing in her first FIDE Cadet World Championships and added a bronze medal to her collection at 154 pounds. Anastasia opened up with a second period pin over Gumiral Yurkabayeva of Kazakhstan in the bronze medal match. After an opening loss to Sweden's eventual silver medalist Moja-Lena Nygren, Lobsinger was drawn back into the repechage when Nygren reached the finals. A win over Canada's Kelsey Robb put Anastasia in action for the bronze medal. Now, 3 other U.S. women placed 5th, qualifying for bronze medal matches of their own in their weight classes. Competing in her second FIDE Cadet Worlds, Regina Doi of California at 88 pounds came in 5th place. 114-pound Pennsylvania star Francesca Giorgio joined 143-pound Alyssa LaFrancis of California and earning 5th in their first trip to the Cadet Worlds. Overall, the United States placed 5th in the team standings with 48 total points. Japan won the team championship, posting 66 of their own. Russia followed in second with 63. Tied for third at 57 each was Ukraine and Azerbaijan. Well, Greco-Roman was the final style to be contested at the Cadet Worlds this year. Danny Boychuk of New Jersey led the effort for the USA. He placed 5th at 101 pounds on the final day of action. Boychuk fell just short of a medal. He opened with a victory over Takumi Toshiro of Japan, then lost to eventual champion Mikhail Romanov of Azerbaijan in the second round. When Romanov reached the finals, Boychuk was alive in the repechage. In the first repechage bout, he scored a clutch win by pin over Turkey's Batun Bozkurt. He fell to Balbay Dordakov of Kyrgyzstan in the bronze medal match. The United States Greco team placed 10th overall in the team standings with 15 points. Azerbaijan led the way to the top of the scoreboard with 84 and had 6 champions. Georgia was second with 62, and Russia came in third with 61 points. While the U.S. had 5 athletes placed in the top 10 of their weight class, each who scored team points. Florida's 110-pound star Kyle Nordstrom placed 8th, as did 167-pounder Chandler Rogers of Washington. Competing in his second FIDE Cadet Worlds and placing 9th was Idaho's 138-pound standout Hayden Tuma, who was competing in his second FIDE Cadet Worlds. Grant Lamont of Utah finished 10th at 152 pounds. Now, if you recall, last week we reported on the men's freestyle results of the Cadet World Championships, including the exciting gold medal performance by Zane Rutherford of Pennsylvania. Rutherford was named the Mat.com Wrestler of the Week based upon his outstanding performance on the way to his FIDE Cadet World title. National Freestyle Developmental Coach Bill Zadek coached Rutherford and the U.S. team in Baku.
It seemed like the more obstacles that were thrown in the way, the more determination that Zane showed in that he just wasn't taking no for an answer and fought hard, and he's got some great technique, great little shot that he just kept peppering away and staying in these guys' faces. And so as a human being, he's a great kid off the mat, works hard, was just hungry to learn and asking questions during the training camps and stuff. He was a lot of fun to work with. He's got a tremendous passion for the sport and loves to win. And that was a lot of fun and a lot of excitement for us. And he's coached by Russ Hughes out there in Pennsylvania, and Russ obviously doing a great job with him.
Well, September 4th through the 9th, Team USA's best 17 to 20-year-old athletes will compete in Pattaya, Thailand at the FILA Junior World Championships. Historically, those successful at this event have been very successful at the senior level at World and Olympic events. The United States will send their best and their brightest. The women's team will feature a pair of 2011 Junior World medalists. 97-pound Erin Golston will be competing in her third FILA Junior World Championships. She won a bronze at the Junior Worlds last year at the same weight. 2011 Junior World medalist Allie Reagan of King College will return and seek yet another medal, this one at 138 pounds. Looking to improve from last year's 8th place finish is Jenna Burkert, who will return for her second trip to the FILA Junior World Championships. She'll do so at 130 pounds. The team will also feature a 2011 FILA Cadet World Champion in Haley Agello. The 112-pounder will compete in her first Junior World Championships. The most experienced American competitor of them all making the trip is 4-time Junior World Team member Jesse Thielke. The Greco-Roman standout will compete at 132 pounds in search of his very first Junior World medal. At 121 pounds, Mai Fuffinger and 211-pound Marcus Finau will also return to action as Junior World Team members. While the men's freestyle team has only one returning FILA Junior team member, and that's 211-pound Tanner Hall. Hall's been a U.S. Olympic Training Center resident athlete and is one of 5 core wrestlers who train on a regular basis there. Freestyle developmental coach Bill Zadek talked about the freestyle team going to Thailand.
Yeah, in the last 3 years, 2 years, I guess, as a development coach, in the 4 age group world titles championships that I've seen, it's extremely competitive, and a lot of the it's very similar to our senior level, where you see the strongest countries on the senior level are the strongest countries at the junior and the cadet level as well. And Azerbaijan, Russia, Iran, very strong showings. Georgia, some very strong competitors out there, and technically right there on par with our senior level athletes. I think there's obviously physical maturity that comes into play with that, but very competitive, very big deal, and it's important. It's important for the United States and the health of our sport in this country to rise to the challenge and start moving forward in these age divisions.
Well, for the next 2 weeks, we'll be bringing you the news from Thailand on USA Wrestling Weekly. And as always, you can find exclusive updates from this event and more on themat.com and video on themat.tv. Well, stay tuned. There's a lot more up next. This is USA Wrestling Weekly.
ASICS has been there. They've been the lifeblood of the sport. It's been a long time, and they've been at the top of the game every year, forever. And I'll tell you what, now that I think about it, maybe that's where I've gotten my inspiration, because I always want to be in the top of my game in wrestling, and I think that's where ASICS is and wants to be as well.
Last week, USA Wrestling hosted its annual Board of Directors meeting in Colorado Springs. The meeting, as always, was chaired by USA Wrestling President James Ravenak. Greg Strobel chaired an ad hoc committee on board restructuring, and as a result, a motion was presented to reduce the size and composition of the board of directors. After much discussion, a number of amendments were made to the proposal. The board then voted and failed to gain the required 2/3 margin to be accepted. The board approved to reconsider the proposal and tabled the topic to the appropriate committees. USA Wrestling will continue to have the same board structure as it had coming in to this important meeting. After the board restructuring vote was taken, the board of directors held its election for board-at-large positions and positions on certain standing committees, as well as for officers of the board of directors. Re-elected as USA Wrestling president was James Ravinack of Louisiana. 3 other officers re-elected by the board include First Vice President Bruce Baumgartner of Pennsylvania, Second Vice President Greg Strobel, also of Pennsylvania, and Treasurer Van Stokes of Tennessee. Also elected as an officer was Dwayne Morgan of California to the position of Secretary. 8 at-large members of the board of directors were elected or re-elected by the board, including Bruce Baumgartner of Pennsylvania, David Black of Wisconsin, William Grant of Florida, Mike Juby of Kansas, Van Stokes of Tennessee, Greg Strobel of Pennsylvania, Kerry McCoy of Maryland, and Jim Keene of Michigan. Let's take a look at the results of the standing committee elections on a roll. On behalf of the Finance Committee, Treasurer Van Stokes made the presentation of the 2012-2013 USA Wrestling budget, which was discussed by the board and approved unanimously. The 2012-2013 USA Wrestling approved budget includes $9,632,690 in revenues and $9,400,650 in expenses, with revenues over expenses of some $232,040. Junior Olympic Wrestling Committee Chairperson Dwayne Morgan presented the Junior Olympic Wrestling Committee report, which was unanimously accepted by the board. Included in the report was the creation of a new membership category called the Open License. This will apply to all USA Wrestling athlete members who are 19 years old and above prior to September 1st of the current membership year. The cost of this important membership is only $50. Well, President James Ravinack announced that Indiana State Chairperson Louis Rossbottom is the recipient of the President's Award, which brings outstanding state leaders to the World Championships on the United States delegation. Rossbottom will attend the FILA Junior World Championships in Pattaya, Thailand. We talked to President Ravinack once the election was concluded.
It's an honor, to have to take the position and really, help lead the country, but with constituent groups that help run this organization and hundreds of thousands of people that run this effort, it's just an honor. It's not something that, it's something that I'm blessed to do. Between staff and my board, that makes my life a whole lot easier. Well, we had some issues with board reform and board restructuring, and it's something that we've been working on for several years, and we got it closed, and the document's not quite ready. But they've agreed to go back and actually redo some of the bylaw amendments, and hopefully we'll get it down, and our board will be cut down a little bit more, but our committee structure will be in place, in which is the way I envision USA Wrestling running the year's future is going to be run by the committees. But the challenge is, and right now, and the staff's accepted it, and the states, being our state leaders summit this weekend, has accepted it. So you know what, moving forward, I look forward to Rio in 2016, because we're just going to bring the whole house down.
Well, stay tuned. We've got a lot more. This is USA Wrestling Weekly.
Each season, Liberty Mutual's Responsible Sports Community Grant Program awards $65,000 to youth sports organizations and school sports programs that demonstrate their commitment to responsibility in youth sports. Your organization could be one of our 20 winners this season. It's easy. Simply visit responsiblesports.com and click on the Community Grant Program. Administrators register their organization with the program, then reach out to rally parents, coaches, and team supporters to log on and and review either the Responsible Sports Parenting or Responsible Coaching Guide. Then complete the quiz and showcase your mastery of the concepts. Every successfully passed quiz is worth a point that you can credit to your favorite youth sports organization or school sports program. Connect with friends, family, and neighbors to rally more support. The teams and schools with the most points at the end of the grant period win. It's that simple. Watch the leaderboard throughout the grant season, then rally more of your supporters to increase your totals. Liberty Mutual is committed to celebrating and championing youth sports and to financially supporting organizations that demonstrate their commitment to responsible sports. Join the movement and start earning points toward your community grant.
Also held alongside the Board of Directors meeting was the annual USA Wrestling State Leaders Summit. It was the largest summit ever, with representatives from 41 states in attendance. A series of seminars, planning sessions, and voting sessions were held as USA Wrestling set its programs on the grassroots level for yet another year and beyond. A highlight of the weekend was the appearance of 2012 Olympic bronze medalist Coleman Scott at both the State Leaders Summit and the Board of Directors meetings. Scott is a product of USA Wrestling's grassroots programs, winning cadet and junior national titles for the great state of Pennsylvania. The Board of Directors watched the thrilling conclusion of his bronze medal bout in London, and then Coleman Scott spoke to those in attendance.
It's actually the first time I've seen any of my matches. I haven't watched anything, so it definitely, got the hair standing up on the back of my neck watching it again. I said this when I was talking to somebody. That last moment when you're down, 1-0, 25 seconds left. That wasn't necessarily for myself. It was for when I heard everybody chanting USA. And that's really that's what came out of it. And that's what that was for. More so than myself, it was for everybody that was behind me all these years, and wouldn't be possible without USA Wrestling.
It was afterwards that USA Wrestling Weekly caught up with Scott and talked about coming up through the ranks and about his future plans to continue with Team USA.
Just back in Stillwater, phone's been ringing off the hook. Just trying to get some stuff lined up, and really just planning everything around my training schedule. I don't want to miss any training. I want to just get back on the mat Monday into my full schedule, and not change anything. Just keep it as simple as I can the next couple years, and hope to exchange this medal in Rio.
Well, USA Wrestling is an important part of the U.S. Olympic movement, one of the most successful sports in producing medals for the U.S. at the Games. As part of the Board of Directors meeting, 2 key executives from the U.S. Olympic Committee were in attendance and provided reports to USA Wrestling's leaders. Scott Blackman, the Chief Executive Officer of the United States Olympic Committee, discussed the recently concluded Games in London and the relationship between the USOC and USA Wrestling.
One of my favorite statistics, though, is we won 256 medals, if you count the team medals, as one for each athlete. So 256 times we hung a medal on an athlete's neck, and the second place team was Russia, which was more than 100 medals behind us. So it was truly a dominant performance by our athletes, and the great thing is that they also comported themselves very, very well. We're also very proud of our partnership, not only with USA Wrestling, but with all of the NGBs. And when I came back to the USOC a few years ago, one of the things that I really wanted to change was our relationship and our mindset toward the NGBs. We've got a strategic plan that we're putting together for the 2013 to 2016 quadrennium, and there's basically 4 pillars of that plan. And one of the key pillars is that we want to continue to operate in a culture of service to the NGBs, a culture of partnership to the NGBs, as opposed to the way I think it was for a long, long time, where we're there to do something other than help you to succeed.
Chief of Sport Performance is Alan Ashley, and he's responsible for competition success of Team USA. He updated the board on the performance of the U.S. in London and the efforts of the U.S. wrestling team.
I first want to say congratulations on a job well done. The results in London were absolutely fantastic. And I look back to 4 years ago. I remember sitting at the Crown Plaza when you're having your board meeting following the Beijing Games. We had some tough conversations about, how can we get better? How do we organize ourselves and partner together to get better and get better results and help our very best athletes have the programs and the training, the competition, the coaching, the leadership they need in order to win medals. And we sit here today watching the men's freestyle program win 2 gold medals and a bronze, which was it's fantastic. I mean, those 2 gold medals are huge, and I recognize personally the commitment, sacrifice, and expertise it took to get for those athletes to achieve that level of excellence in this sport. It is so tough.
Well, stay tuned. We've got a lot more. This is USA Wrestling Weekly.
There comes a point in your life that determines who you are, whether you will lead or follow, whether you will fight or give in, whether you will win or lose, and what you will count as your victory.
Both of these guys are explosive, and it's not over. This is going to be a great match.
Well, there continues to be a whirlwind of activity for our recently crowned Olympic wrestling champion, Jordan Burroughs. He's making a number of major public appearances on his schedule. Friday, August 24th, Burroughs appeared with fellow Olympic champions Carly Lloyd of soccer, Heather Mitz of soccer, and Susan Francia of rowing to throw out the first pitch for a Philadelphia Phillies home game. Burroughs had a chance to visit with the other Olympic champions and enjoy a major league game with hometown fans. On Saturday, the 25th, Burroughs was honored in his hometown of Sicklerville, New Jersey, with a parade through the center of town, going from a local church to an elementary school. Over 1,000 people came out to see him. Burroughs was able to meet with his neighbors growing up, as well as a number of fans from across the region at the very end of the parade. Monday, the 27th of August, he was honored alongside Olympic silver medalist Jordan Larson from the Olympic volleyball team at the University of Nebraska. Both together were star student athletes there. The governor of Nebraska, Dave Heineman, was there, as well as Nebraska athletic director and legend Tom Osborne. Our Olympic bronze medalist, Clarissa Chun, continues to make appearances in Hawaii, where she met with high school students and citizens of the island of Kauai to tell her story of her Olympic quest and representing the U.S. at the Games. This week, we mark the passing of 2 NCAA wrestling champions. Dave Porter, 2-time NCAA champion for the Maize and Boo, passed away in Grand Ledge, Michigan. One of the most decorated wrestlers in Michigan history, he won NCAA titles at heavyweight in 1966 and 1968, placing second in 1967. He had a 51-3 career record, including 37 wins by pin. Porter was also a 2-year football letter winner as a defensive tackle for the Wolverines. Arizona State's 1985 NCAA champion and 2-time All-American Eddie Urbano passed away. He passed away in Tucson, Arizona. Urbano, a 2-time Pac-10 champ, was the second NCAA champ in Sun Devil history. Eddie was also a successful freestyle wrestler, placing 4th in the 1988 Olympic trials at 149 pounds. All of us at USA Wrestling extend our condolences to family and friends of these wrestling greats, and will fondly remember them for their incredible achievements. Well, as you know, we've been busy with our Olympic coverage over the last few weeks and haven't had a Photo of the Week winner for a while, but today we do. It's time for our USA Wrestling Photo of the Week. Pictures sent in by wrestling families and fans from around the country. The pictures are being considered as well for the photo contest page on USA Wrestler magazine, as well as for the USA Wrestling Facebook page. This week, our picture is taken by Jason Cook. It shows 8-year-old Gage Cook of Team Alpha in Washington scoring a fall at a recent event. You can have your photographs considered for USA Wrestling's photo contest simply by emailing them to our friend Gary Abbott at gabbott@usawrestling.org. Well, that'll do it for this week's program. We appreciate you watching throughout the year. For all of us at USA Wrestling and USA Wrestling Weekly, I'm Scott Casper. Have a good one, everybody.